Have you ever felt like you've gone too far, made too many mistakes, or drifted too far from God? If so, let me tell you about a man who went from persecuting Christians to becoming one of the greatest apostles of all time. This is the powerful story of Paul, a story of redemption, transformation, and purpose. Stay with me until the end, and if this message inspires you, don't forget to share it so more people can experience the hope found in Paul's journey. Introduction: the unexpected journey of a persecutor of Christians. Paul's story is one of the most astonishing transformations in history. Imagine someone dedicated to destroying a movement suddenly becoming its greatest advocate. That's exactly what happened to Saul of Tarsus, who later became known as Paul. His radical change proves that no one is too far gone for God's grace. But how did this happen? Let's dive into his past to truly understand the weight of his redemption. Who was Saul of Tarsus before becoming Paul? Saul was a devout Pharisee, well educated under the famous teacher Gamaliel. He was zealous for the Jewish law and saw the followers of Jesus as a dangerous threat to his faith. His mission? To eradicate this new movement before it could spread further. Saul's passion led him to become one of the fiercest persecutors of Christians, believing he was serving God. But little did he know his journey was about to take an unexpected turn. The ruthless persecution. How Saul hunted down the followers of Christ. Saul's actions were severe. He arrested, imprisoned, and even approved the killing of Christians. The Bible tells us that he was present at the stoning of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, and fully approved of his death. Imagine the fear he instilled in the early believers. His name alone was enough to make Christians tremble. But even in his darkest moments, God had a plan for Saul's life. The turning point. The supernatural encounter on the road to Damascus. Everything changed on the road to Damascus. Saul was traveling with authority to arrest more believers when suddenly a blinding light from heaven stopped him in his tracks. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" It was Jesus himself. Trembling and blind, Saul asked, "Who are you, Lord?" The answer was life-altering. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting." In that moment, Saul's entire worldview collapsed, and his transformation began. Blindness and reflection, 3 days that changed everything. After his encounter with Jesus, Saul was blinded and led into Damascus. For 3 days he neither ate nor drank. He was left to reflect on everything he had done. Can you imagine the turmoil in his heart? Everything he had believed in was now questioned. But God wasn't finished with him. A man named Ananias was about to enter Saul's story and change his life forever. The calling and conversion. From persecutor to preacher of the word. God spoke to Ananias, a faithful disciple, and told him to go to Saul and restore his sight. At first Ananias hesitated. After all, Saul was known for harming Christians. But God reassured him, saying that Saul was his chosen instrument to spread the gospel. Ananias obeyed, laid his hands on Saul, and immediately something like scales fell from Saul's eyes. He could see again, both physically and spiritually. He was baptized, and his new mission in life began. The impact of Paul, spreading the gospel to the Gentiles. After his conversion, Paul didn't waste any time. He began preaching that Jesus is the Son of God, shocking those who once knew him as a persecutor. But his calling wasn't just to the Jews. It was to the Gentiles, the non-Jewish world. He traveled extensively, planting churches and sharing the gospel in places that had never heard of Jesus before. Through hardships, shipwrecks, and imprisonments, Paul remained faithful to his mission. Trials and tribulations. Redemption does not mean an easy life. Some people think that following God means an easy life, but Paul's journey proves otherwise. He was beaten, stoned, imprisoned, and even shipwrecked multiple times. Yet, through every hardship, he held on to his faith. He once wrote, "I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation." His resilience teaches us that redemption doesn't erase difficulties, but it gives us the strength to endure them with purpose. The letters of Paul, timeless lessons for our spiritual lives. Paul's legacy is found in the letters he wrote, Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, and many more. These letters contain wisdom about faith, grace, love, and perseverance. One of his most famous passages reminds us that nothing can separate us from the love of God. His words continue to inspire millions, showing us that no matter our past, God's love and purpose for our lives remain unshaken. Conclusion: what can we learn from Paul's redemption today? Paul's story teaches us that no one is beyond God's reach. If God can transform a man like Saul into Paul, imagine what he can do in your life. His redemption reminds us that our past does not define our future, and God's grace is available to all who seek Him. If this message inspired you, share it so others can be reminded of the power of God's love. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that strengthen faith and inspire transformation. See you in the next video.